I think there's a certain point where criticism and guidance can become negative. What I mean by this is we are all skillful and talented in our own ways. We all have abilities, and they vary greatly compared to others. In some cases, they will be far superior. In other cases, they will be far inferior. In many cases, it's average. There's a reason it's called average. It's a norm. A lot of people do have a consistent ability that is on par with others who find an interest in said activity or ability. So when we are giving criticism to others, consider giving it in a way that is constructive criticism, ways that are going to help an individual if it is asked for or warranted. What I mean by this is randomly telling people that you have no right to be telling them things, how they should act, behave, or do something is foolish, mean, aggressive, and unnecessary. You see this especially a lot online. You see this on the book of the face, the Facebook, as you will. You'll see this on social media, on Twitter. People will do something, some act, some photo, some video, maybe on YouTube, and people will just go nuts, for positive or negative. They'll just go nuts sharing their opinion about it. You see this at work. You see this in society. You see this with parents. You see this with friends. People will criticize and tell them how they should be doing it. The most interesting thing when it comes to life choices and life decisions, it is by far easier to tell another how they should live their life than to make that choice and live it yourself. It is much easier to tell someone what they should do when you are not the one who has to live out the consequences of those choices. It's easy to criticize and dictate someone on opinions and choices. It's very easy to tell them how much your idea is better when it's something artful or creative. And in some circumstances, sure, there is actual aptitude. Perhaps there are certain ways to do certain activities. For example, if you are doing a job, there is proper ways to do the job. But at the same time, I'm reminded of my nephews. They were doing mathematic equations. And yeah, there's a right and wrong way for math. You either have the answer or you don't. But there's this new thing, and I say new because for me, it was not the case back when I was in school. We had this thing, show your work. Show your work was pretty common. Now they're trying to teach children how to think. So not only are you showing your work, but you have to calculate in the method that they show you. It is no longer about getting the right answer. It is about teaching you how to think. And I think to a certain degree that this is good for society and for our children when you teach someone the proper way to act as part of society, how to be kind and have manners and respect others. These types of things I think are important. But when it comes to work or jobs, something I do with my staff, I've done this at several management positions that I've had, is I give them a task and allow them to complete it the best way they feel is necessary to complete that task. I am more concerned with the end result. And I would advise this in most situations. There are many ways to go about completing or accomplishing a task. When it comes to art, it's about self-expression. It doesn't necessarily need to feed into or fit into a particular type of art. If you're writing poetry, if you're just putting down words, if you're rhyming, it doesn't have to be specific to a format of poetry to be good. It can simply be an expression. When you are doing martial arts, it does not necessarily have to be a technique that is picture perfect in the sense of something that you would see in a performance in a movie. Does the technique work? Is it effective? The outcome is more important than the method. And perhaps, yes, method to a degree is going to dictate outcome, and I get that, and I'm not arguing that point, but I'm arguing that there are many paths to get to the same result, and trying to dictate to others how they should do it. I don't know. Especially when it comes to people that you have no right to be saying things to. Telling someone how they should feel or think or what their preferences should be, what choices they have for significant others, or how they should live their life, how they should dress, how they should wear their hair, what religion they should follow or believe in. No place whatsoever telling or dictating to others such things, in my opinion. I think you should be more considerate when giving advice. It's not asked for. Perhaps you shouldn't give it. And even if it is asked for, there's a difference between giving a suggestion and straight up criticizing. There is constructive criticism. It gives breakdowns and analytical thought processes and different solutions. I believe that people should come with solutions, not just problems. You should not just sit here and say, no, that is wrong. Say it is wrong because, and give another solution. But again, only where warranted. Only where it is relevant to specific tasks versus opinions or self-expressions. But again, these are just my thoughts. I see some of this all the time when it comes to individuals who are unique in any way, shape, or form. You know, men who wear their hair long, even wearing beards is not always accepted. People who are not of the Christian or monotheistic faiths, or any of the normal faiths, I see this a lot with. I see this a lot with people when they are choosing to identify by gender different than their biological gender. I've seen this when it comes to people's sexual preferences for partners. I've seen this when it comes to the way people choose to eat and their eating habits, whether it be over and excessive eating or choosing to be vegetarian or vegan. I see this with the way that people dress. I see so many things in society, from people on a whole criticizing and dictating to one another. And I just think in most cases it is completely unwarranted and unnecessary. I believe that differences and different paths to getting to the same results or similar results should be accepted and embraced. It is the unique thinkers, the ones that go outside of the box, who can do extraordinary and just amazing things and be leaders into new discoveries or even rediscoveries or new ways of doing things that might make more sense. I think of a wonderful quote that I heard from a movie called The Imitation Game. It is often those who we imagine very little of who can do things that nobody can imagine. I believe that was the quote, very, very close to that. But anyway, that's enough rambling for one day. Thank you for watching. Remember to thumb up, like, and subscribe, and consider next time when you're doing feedback for others. Is it really asked for, or is there a better way to deliver it?